Hello students, welcome to another video on circulatory system in humans for class 8. Today I am going to tell you about circulation of blood, how the circulation of blood happens in the heart. So this structure, internal structure, I had shown you last time also, and I had explained you as well how the circulation is happening. But to start with today's video, I am explaining it again so that I can tell you about double circulation. Now you know that the heart is constantly pumping blood and the right auricle is receiving the deoxygenated or the impure blood, that is the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide, from the two main veins, the superior and the inferior vena cava. And from this right side the blood is being pumped into the right ventricle. Also from here it is taken with the help of the pulmonary arteries to the lungs to get oxygenated or to add in more oxygen. So in the lungs the exchange of gases is actually taking place and the blood is getting oxygenated, and then through the pulmonary vein the pure or the oxygenated blood is coming to the left auricle, that is through the pulmonary vein. I had also told you that the pulmonary vein is the only vein which carries the pure blood, and pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries the impure blood. After reaching the left auricle, the blood is being pushed into the left ventricle, and from here it is pumped through the aorta, which is the largest artery in the body, also called the systemic aorta. This aorta will divide into many parts, which is not shown in the diagram here, and it will reach to all the body parts, body tissues. And remember children, when the blood is passing through the capillaries, the oxygen, nutrients, all are getting delivered to the different cells, and also it is collecting back the carbon dioxide and the waste. It is thus getting deoxygenated, and again it will come back through the inferior and superior vena cava to the right auricle, and this will be one complete circulation of the blood. When I am talking about the circulation of blood, as I just explained you, this diagram is a block diagram of that same representation. And why do I say that it is double circulation? And it consists of two types or two processes, that is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So with this block diagram I shall explain you. Now as the blood is completing one round of circulation in the body and the blood is passing twice through the heart, it is called double circulation, and it is of two types, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Now what happens in the pulmonary circulation? As you can see, in the pulmonary circulation, the circulation of the blood between the heart and the lungs is happening, right? Why does it go to the lungs? To be purified, and exchange of gases actually happen in the lungs. So the circulation of the blood from the heart to the lungs, that is the right ventricle, from there through the pulmonary artery it is reaching the lungs. This is the pulmonary circulation, and again from the pulmonary vein it is coming back to the left auricle. Now in the systemic circulation, the circulation of the blood between the heart and the body is taking place. Systemic, it is going to the different parts of your body, to the different organs, and from where does it go? From the left ventricle through the aorta it is going to all the parts of your body. This is the systemic circulation, and these two circulation, they are very rhythmic in manner, and together they are constituting the cardiac cycle. Okay students, moving on to the next topic, that is heartbeat. Now heartbeat, you can say children, it is a pulsation of the heart which includes a complete systole and diastole. What is a systole? A contraction. And what is a systole? A relaxation. To explain this, I will use this diagram again so that you understand how the heartbeat is taking place. You know that the heart muscles, they do not all contract together at the same time. The auricles, they contract first and they force the blood into the ventricles, and just a fraction of a second later the ventricles, they push the blood to the pulmonary artery and the aorta. So the auricles then relax and the blood is flowing from the pulmonary vein and the vena cava, and the ventricles have also emptied, and a time comes when the whole heart is relaxed, and that is referred to as a heartbeat. So also the sequence of events which is taking place and during one complete heartbeat, that sequence is called a cardiac cycle, and it involves a lot of contraction and relaxation. And the complete heartbeat or cardiac cycle is lasting only 0.8 seconds. So how do we define a cardiac cycle? The sequence of events which is taking place during one complete heartbeat is the cardiac cycle, which involves repeated contraction and relaxation of the heart muscles. Also remember, children, that the instrument which the doctors use to listen to your heartbeat is known as stethoscope, and the normal heartbeat of an average person is ranging or beating 72 times per minute. Now, what is the heartbeat? When the left ventricle contracts and the blood is moving into the arteries, it is moving under high pressure, and the walls of the arteries, they get stretched by this pressure, and as the ventricles relax, the pressure comes down. So the relaxing and stretching of the arteries with each heartbeat is known as a pulse. It is felt as a throbbing. You can feel the pulse in the different parts of your bodies, like in your wrist, around your neck, in the sides of your neck. And also you know that a heartbeat or a pulse rate of a healthy adult is ranging somewhere from 70 to 75 times per minute, and it's like the pulse is the rate at which your heart is beating. Then come to the next term, blood pressure. The heart, must exert pressure to push the blood from the blood vessels, and the force of blood exerted against the artery walls by the heart is called the blood pressure. And the blood pressure is, again, we are dividing into two types: the systolic pressure, which is the upper limit, and the diastolic pressure, which is the lower limit. Now, what do I mean by systolic pressure? Average pressure which is produced by the ventricles when they contract, that is the lower part, when they are contracting and pumping the blood into the aorta and the pulmonary artery, that is known as the systolic or the upper limit. Also, this is high because the blood has to be pushed to very far away places of the body, and it's around 120 mm of mercury. And the diastolic pressure is the pressure when that's the average pressure produced when the ventricles are filled with blood from the auricles, and that is known as the diastolic pressure, which is the lower limit of up to 80 mm per mercury. And the blood pressure is measured by a special instrument called the sphygmomanometer, and the normal adult blood pressure is 120 by 80 mm of mercury, and it again is affected by a lot of factors like what is your age, are you a healthy person, and so on. Moving on to a very interesting topic of blood groups. Now, children, in our blood, it is having the different blood cells and the plasma, but there are certain things in the blood, some proteins which we call as antigens and antibodies, which are different from person to person, and so the different blood groups are there. Like you might be having a A plus, B plus, and so on, your blood group. So ABO blood group we are having, that is A blood group, B blood group, AB and O. Now, what are these? Now, as I can tell you that antigen, they are present on the surface of the blood corpuscles, but the antibodies are present in the plasma. So depending upon which antigen is present, the different blood groups will be decided. Like blood group A has antigen A and antibody B. Blood group B has antigen B and antibody A, and blood group AB has both the antigens A and B but no antibodies, and blood group O has neither antigen A nor antigen B but both antibodies A and B. So now you should know that antigen A and antibody A, they are incompatible, right? And they can cause self-clumping. Now that means that the cells, they will come and join together and form a clot, and they will not flow. This will result in death, obviously. And so it's very important to know what is your blood group before you donate blood to anyone, right? Also, you should remember that blood group O is the universal donor. Now, why is blood group O a universal donor? Because it is not having any of the antigens and it can be given to any person with any blood group. But blood group AB is called the universal recipient. As you can see, it has no antibody. So each antibody, it binds with a specific antigen like a lock in a key. So if the blood of a wrong group comes into your body, there will be a clumping, and thus it can lead to blood infections and even death. So you have to be very careful when you donate blood to different blood groups. O is the universal donor and blood group AB is the universal recipient. Also, there is another factor which is known as the rhesus factor or the Rh factor. This is another antigen which is found on the surface of the RBCs, and around 85% of the people in the world, they have this Rh factor in their blood. So they are Rh positive, whereas those who do not have this factor are Rh negative. And this is named as rhesus factor because it was first discovered in the rhesus monkeys. Now what happens here is when a Rh positive blood is given to a Rh negative person, the recipient will form the antibody against the Rh positive factor. But first time there will be no much complication. After the first transfusion, as the Rh antibodies, they are very short-lived. But in case we give the second transfusion of Rh positive blood, after a short period, what is going to happen is the recipient's antibody will attack the transfused blood and it can cause problem. Thus, before we do blood transfusion, we have to be careful that we match the blood group. Even the positive and negative has to be matched. What is blood transfusion? The process by which blood is transferred from one person to another. That is known as blood transfusion. So I'm very sure, children, that now you might have understood what is double circulation, how the heart is circulating the blood to different parts, how it is getting oxygenated and deoxygenating, and how the cycle continues. If you have understood the video, please don't forget to like and comment on it. Hit the bell icon if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you for watching.